and what doesn't. Today, Larissa and I are talking about, of course, buying social media and the pros and the cons. I'm taking the cons section, she's taking the pros. I want to start off with, first of all, saying that buying a list, basically you're not learning anything about your audience and you can't measure what works and what doesn't. And also, I also want to throw in there that, a spike in followers relays only three conclusions: that you're falsely inflating your image to the people, and you can't be trusted, and you're probably going to scam me if I engage in your advertised product or service.
And
I'll turn it over to you.
in terms of purchasing followers, I do believe that there are certain circumstances, yes, where it's going to be looked at as cheating, as using unfair advantages to gain followers in something, in a community that's meant to be about creating and sharing conversations. But what I do debate is that there's a difference between targeted and generated followers. Generated followers are where we don't want to go. Generated followers are spam bots, are massive amounts of, say, Twitter accounts created in the Philippines that have no legitimacy behind them. But from a business standpoint, we want to look at is targeted followers, or followers that have a real vested interest in a product or service that you might be offering, and people that you wouldn't necessarily connect with if you were trying to, if you were already expended all of your natural networking processes and you want to get a bigger audience base. I think targeted is where really where purchasing followers is something that should be done and can be done without any ethical concerns, in the fact that these are people that you would have connected with even with other traditional marketing methods like lead generation. Back in 2012, there was an article in New York Times called "Buying Their Way to Twitter," which actually pushed a lot of businesses, and even those businesses that were clients of social media marketing firms, to say,
I just want to say that it doesn't always work, because in the case of the State Department that spent $630,000 on buying likes on Facebook, and they themselves said that the bureau could reduce spending and increase strategic impact by focusing its advertising and not on raising overall fan numbers or general engagement statistics. My thing with this is that it's still sort of new, and a lot of companies don't know how to best utilize social media. They're just going out there and like, let's get likes, and and that's what's going to drive our product or our market.
Sure. I mean, the issue that companies are having is that they're not creating a strategy around this. And I think if you go into it blindly saying, I just want bodies to follow me, then yes, you're going to have a bad time, and you're going to ultimately lose a lot of the credibility that you've tried to build up through more natural networking and social media techniques. So what I say is that with these targeted purchasing of followers, you're going to find people who are interested in what you're doing, and you're going to do that within a strategy. So that's a big part of this. You actually need to have, in effect, a broader communication strategy on your social media, so that you can make sure that you're not just going into this with really.
I'm sorry to get the last part.
So that you're not going into really into your social media accounts saying, okay, I've got all of these people who are following me, but I don't have any way to really broaden that reach. I mean, it's just basically
that's what I'm saying. It's still sort of a new concept that it's not really benefiting anyone until a better strategy is in place. With that, I want to mention that a lot could be said for artists. Like musicians. I just read an article the other day about musicians who wanted to build a fan base first by offering like their free music online, and then they just blew up like overnight, because it was all they built a reputation by word of mouth. As where large companies their focus is like, let's make more money by specifically targeting these people that they think is their target audience or in their demographic. And it's really sort of, I want to say, soulless, whereas our artists and musicians are out there and they're pushing their album and they want to make a connection with the people that are following them on Twitter or social media.